back, everyone. Thank you for joining me along this continuing adventure. We've got some updates and some things to catch up on, and to bring you up to where the car's at and to the problem I'm currently having. So let's go ahead and just kind of dig right into it and see what we can figure out. All right, the first thing to talk about, I think, is going to be our fuel. So we have the inlet that comes from the tank going into the fuel pressure regulator. We've got the to carburetor white one that goes over to the carburetor, and then our return hose. It normally had the blue tag on it, but we've changed that around a bit because the return hose now, well, it returns to the gas tank. You know, it's on the outside of the car now, but this is actually going to work for now, at least. We've got, of course, other things to kind of get to, but that'll keep the gas recirculating so we don't run out of it immediately, because the car's a little bit of a gas guzzler if you're not returning the fuel. As far as being under the car goes, our next step is going to be to do an oil change, which is a fairly straightforward endeavor, thankfully. All it requires is the removal of the oil pan drain bolt here, and then all the old oil in the pan will drain out. I remembered that a comment was left that the oil should be changed because there was some smoky ick coming out of one of the valve covers, and I couldn't agree with you more, because we also had a ton of well, it hadn't been changed since 2019, and it also has probably had a ton of like gas and other products that shouldn't be in your oil there. So we'll get that changed and get back to you. One of the other issues I got asked about was timing and how to do it, and I'm excited, and I know you are, because we are going to get to the timing today. So let's do the part under the car first, and then we'll move to a standing position, which will be nicer. Alright, I've got a handy dandy tire marker pen. It's white, and it puts out a, it's like a white highlighter, but it sticks on stuff really well, because the timing marks on the harmonic balancer, which are the big wheel, are attached to the big wheel that turns around. Since those are pretty much gone through the days of time, we're going to mark it with a white line to try and help make that more visible when we get to the timing. As you can see, I have put a big old fat white mark on the top dead center line, which is 0 degrees. I don't know if you can see that 0 there, but there is one. And this vehicle should be probably timed at around 10 degrees before top dead center. So we'll get to that soon, but first we're gonna do another mark, which will be 10 degrees before top dead center. So this thing rotates around, and we want to make sure we put the mark before top dead center. So since this thing rotates, well, let's turn it around. There we go. All right, now you're looking at it from kind of the front of the car. So since this thing rotates counterclockwise, it's going to be going that way. So if we want 10 degrees before top dead center, we're going to find the 10 on the harmonic balancer, which there's going to be 2 of them. There's going to be one after top dead center, and then one before top dead center. And you can tell that it's before because, well, there's a BTC before top dead center, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's one that's ATC after top dead center. So I'm going to make a second mark at the 10 line because we want to time this about 10 degrees before top dead center with the distributor. So okay, so I've got these two lines on here now, and I'm going to use this to help time the car. So let's go ahead, get it started, get out from under the car, and get a timing light. I guess I might as well show you how easy and or difficult it is to start a car. So we're in the car, and I'm going to pump the gas twice. I don't know. May need a little help because it's kind of an old car. Come on. Come on, baby. Might need to replace a belt or something too. Just kind of gently. Maybe I don't know how to start this car. I am pretty low on gas. That should hopefully be working. I mean, I installed it. How could it not be? Come on, baby. The squealing at least has gone away, which, you know, is nice for everybody involved in this process. Alright, I'm gonna keep this going for a little bit, and when the engine warms up, it should be able to run on its own. Alright, so we've got the car running and idling now, which you need to have if you're going to do timing. I also removed the vacuum advance and plugged that off from the distributor, because you don't want that when you're trying to do timing. Now the timing light, I got this one here. It looks a little complicated, but it's really not too bad. You got a positive and a negative that you put on your battery terminal, and then you also have whatever this is, and you put this on your #1 spark plug wire as close to the spark plug as you can. And what that'll do is every time a current passes through here, it'll cause the light to flash, so you'll get to be able to time it. So let's give that a shot. So now that I have the timing light hooked up to the battery, and I've got that thing clamped around, probably couldn't hear me. I've got that thing clamped around the #1 spark plug. This is going to be flashing every time a spark goes through. So now what we do is we point it down at our harmonic balancer, and we will see those two marks next to the timing pointer, which is that piece of metal. Well, you're gonna have to take my word for it. I can't get you closer, but I actually have that right at 10 degrees top dead center. So kind of nailed it already. So if I wanted to change it, you just turn the distributor either left or right to advance or retard the timing. But I've actually got this, I kind of nailed it, so we're actually good on that. Okay, now that we've got it timed pretty well, it's idling a little bit high, but you know, that's where we're at. So we can now test the alternator. There's two ways that you can do that. I'll show you both of them. One of them involves your multimeter, and the other one is a little bit simpler. So one way to test if your alternator is working is to remove your positive cable. If the alternator is working, the engine will still have enough gas to run. All right, alternator's working. Secondly, you can switch this over to your direct current setting and see if you're maintaining voltage on your battery. So we'll put the negative on the negative and the positive on the positive, and we are at 14 volts and holding steady, so we can tell that our alternator is working. However, I just noticed one of our pulleys isn't spinning. That's not good. It's the smog pump, that very useful item. I blasted it with some WD-40 to try and loosen it up, and I'm taking a screwdriver in. This thing is really hot, by the way. Don't touch that. This is also hot because that's the heater hose. So I'm trying to get in there and twist it, but God, it's not wanting to turn. Why did that happen? Oh dear. Well, was not anticipating that pulley not working. It's to the smog pump, so maybe I could take it off. In fact, it looks like it just goes from the smog pump to the AC, which I don't need that right now. I will later though. Will. And then a belt tensioner, and then around the crank, the big one in the middle. The accessories, the alternator, power steering pump, and the water pump are all powered by a secondary belt. So maybe I just take that belt off for now. But anyway, I wanted to show you this genius bracketry we set up. I'm not 100% sure how this goes, but I took the throttle linkage and stuck it on there. Took the transmission, or the throttle from the pedal, the yellow one, and stuck it on there. And then kind of just, combined two springs that came with it. I'm not, that's probably not right, but, we're still working on that. And on top of it, we do also have a little bit of a transmission issue that we're going to have to try and figure out, but that's okay. I guess another issue is there's just so much crap in here that I would like to get rid of and make this engine bay look a little cleaner. Like the smog pump, I don't think you need that thing, and if you take that out, you get to take all of this out, and like it's just a bunch of stuff. And then I'd like to figure out how to do the distributor wires a little bit better, but like, yeah, I'd like to take all of this out and clean up this whole sort of fender wall here. And I don't know, that seems like an extra project that doesn't need to happen in order to get the car to run right now. So but we're so close. I mean, like, we got the car running, the alternator's working, it's timed somewhat right, maybe. So close. All right. Okay, it's had some time to cool down and let that WD-40 kind of hopefully get in there and loosen her up, so we can maybe turn her. Because if we can't get this smog pump, oh, yep, that's not turning at all, guys. Dang it. Okay, well, I guess I can just take the belt off then. Okay, we got it running. I got a real cheap tachometer to try and help figure out if we're idling near where we need to be. So, pretty simple. The green wire goes to the tachometer, tachometer, how do you say it? I don't know. The black wire goes to a ground, and then the red wire goes to a positive. And if you touch it on a positive, it should start to give you some numbers. As you can see, I've taken the belt off, so we don't need to worry about that. So touching that to the positive terminal. Okay, we can see that we're idling it around. It's hard to do this like this, but we're idling it around 800 to 900 rotations per minute, which is kind of where we want to be. Anyway, so we're at about 800 to 900, so our tune job should have worked out well. So one of the things that we think that we noticed was a bit of a fuel leak near the carburetor. So a way to check for that is to take some starting fluid or some brake fluid and spray it where you think there might be a leak. And if there is, it'll rev up really high. So let's give that a shot and see what happens. Alright, I think it's safe to assume that the back of that carburetor with the gasket is leaking. So we'll have to address that at some point, either trying a new gasket or potentially, as many of you would like, to getting a 4-barrel carburetor. So we'll think on that. Since I was having a bit of trouble making the connection stay permanent, I just hooked in these little wire testers to the terminals and then connected them to the battery. So now we've got a good solid flow, and we should be able to see how that tachometer is going. Tachometer. What? I don't think it's supposed to be jumping. Ah, there we go. Okay, so they need to bring that up just a tip up. It's considering where it wants to be. Alright, it's sitting about 750 now. So when it's idling the way it wants to be, it seems okay. It is a bit loud and shaky. I think that's because when we took the smog pump off down there that wasn't spinning, and we took a lot of this other bracket tri that came with it off, it left a couple of big holes that make a lot of noise. So we're gonna have to figure out how to plug those up and what to do with those. But you know, it's kind of moving. We can keep it steady. We let it idle here for about 10 minutes. It kind of smoothed out a little bit. I think that vacuum leak is gonna have to be fixed somehow. But it's holding pretty steady at about 900 RPM when it's not vacuum leak messed up. So I think that's pretty good. That little thing was pretty easy to install, and if you don't have a tachometer and need to know how fast it's going, it's about 20 bucks online. But we do have some other issues. So the gas gauge does work, which is, you know, really nice, but we're having trouble with the shifter machine. So if I put it in neutral. Then that one is going backwards. But if I have the drum on this, that one doesn't move, and that other one spins that direction. So that's a bit of an issue. I can put it into drive, and the wheel will spin forward. You can see the speedometer even works a bit, but like it's not like hitting on the right, it's not hitting on the right things here. So I don't know why that's not working. And like I can go down one more. That's as far down as that'll go, and I think the transmission feels that that is overdrive. The speedometer also works on it. It's just, that is something I have no idea what to do, but the wheels do spin, so the transmission does seem to work. I have gotten under the car and played with the shift linkage, and like it clicks when it's moving, you know, back and forth, but I just like don't know why it's not catching on the shifter up here. And if I try and like put it back into park, it gets a terrible grinding noise. I'll show you. So trying to put it back into park gets you a horrible noise. I've got my foot on the brake, and I've got this thing pulled all the way back, but yeah, it's not supposed to do that. So I don't know. We got the old smog pump machine off because we were trying to fix it so we could put it back on, and we took it apart, but the pulley portion is just not gonna rotate. We tried pulling the back off and cleaning it out with brake cleaner, but it's just not gonna work. So we are going to have to figure out another way to do that, but I think I have an idea. Moving along with our theme of turning this 84 LTD into a sleeper performance car, we have a performance bracket try for the air pump, smog pump thing. So that should fit down in there and allow us to kind of just bolt on and then put the belt back on so we can use the standard size belt. This thing was a little pricey. It's about $100, so be committed if you're going to do it, but I'm hoping that this will go in more easily than not. All right, so putting it in the location of the old one should be a relatively simple process, and then this belt should then go around just like normal. So let's see if we can't get this bad boy bolted on. Okay, we have the new fancy dancy pulley installed, and like any good mechanic, we had an extra part left over, this spacer, which I believe goes there, but it's just about a millimeter or two too long, so it wouldn't fit, but that's okay. We got this thing tightened down pretty good, and I even got the belt back around it, so hoping the AC works. Let's start her up and see what happens. One thing that is cool is that if you look at the VIN, you can actually tell a lot about your cars. Now this American Beauty here is so cool. I'd love to see where she was made. Oh no. Oh no. Boy, medium. You can tell by the 2 at the front of the VIN code. It indicates that this car was manufactured in Canada. But, you know, we won't hold that against her, I guess. Well, everyone, it's running. I still have some other issues that I need to try and figure out, such as the transmission, why that's not working. I have some new differential fluid for the rear to replace that. I don't know when or if that's ever been replaced. So I figured I could get in there and clean that. And then I got a new transmission oil filter, a gasket, and transmission fluid. So we can replace that, and maybe that'll bring the transmission around. I'm really happy that the pulley appears to be working well. Not a single squeak from the boat, knock on wood. So that's really good. So we still have some things to do on this. I really, and the brakes, of course, but I really don't know how to figure out that transmission, like why it's not shifting or going into gear. So that is something I am going to have to work on. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any thoughts or questions on it, please feel free to leave them down in the comments. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next one. Until then, have a good one.